We're live, we're live, we're live. Hello, 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 and welcome to another show, Global Youth Mental Health Awareness, where we have open conversations with the youth about mental health. I'm your host, KATINDA, the author of The Big Comeback, the founder of Confidence and Self-Esteem Academy, and a special thanks to GYMHA for appointing me as one of GYMHA's special board advisors. Now, in today's show, we are so blessed to be in the presence of two amazing panelists. And our first panelist is Dr. Charles Ichua. Dr. Charles is a mental health counselor who is very passionate about spreading awareness of mental health in his community. He runs a private practice called Ichua Counseling, where he provides affordable mental health services for his clients. Hello and welcome to the show, Dr. Charles.
Great to be here.
Thank you. And our second panelist is Sandeep Nath. Sandeep is an author, empowerer, renewalist, inner power and mindful coach, and is also the GYMHA's head of training and assessment. Hello and welcome to the show, Sandeep.
Hi, great to be here.
Now, in our conversation today, our guests will be giving us some insights on stress, what it is, and what techniques can be used to manage stress. But before we start our conversation today, I would like us to hold the space and take a moment to honor our family and friends who might be hurting and healing from life challenges, which induce stress. And we are sending them the gift of love and light. So I'll just play something for 1 minute, just in honor of our family and friends. Give me one moment.
Okay.
Okay, I just need to stop that.
That is wonderful, Katinda. So soothing, so beautiful.
Yes, I thought it's a good way to start this stress management conversation. Now, before we begin and dive deeper into the show today, I would love to know, how are we feeling today? Dr. Charles.
I'm feeling good. I love the day. I love how the day is going. It's good. I love it.
What about Sandeep? How are you feeling today?
Wonderful. Thanks for asking, Katinda. I'm joining you all from India, from the capital, Delhi. It's a good hot day, bright, sunny, everything happy around, and feels great to be with you guys.
You're welcome. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So we know that stress is the trash of modern life, and we all generate it as well. But if you don't dispose of it properly, it will pile up and create havoc in your life. So what is stress and what is stress management?
Okay, should I answer?
Yes, Charles, please.
Okay, stress is the body's response to certain situations that bring pressure. So if you have a heartbreak, probably you've been through a divorce, probably there's been a stressful situation, maybe you are a military person. So this has a negative effect on the body. So stress is always a negative response to a certain situation that happens in a person's life. Stress management, on the other hand, is the steps that we take in order for us to feel less stressed and more active and productive for a brighter day. So it's important that as we go through stressful situations, we're also in turn allowing ourselves to be better and do better by actually changing our mindset around that word called stress.
Fabulous. Thanks, Charles. I really like that you said that, because that really contextualizes things. Viewers, I bring all my points to this conversation from a perspective of what we've known from ancient Oriental wisdom. So it's going to be a little different. And my way of looking at stress, which I would maybe classically define, quite similar to Charles, when the demands are more than the perceived resources, that's when we get stressed by anything. Now, back in the caveman days, when the elephant came in front of the cave, the demands to save your family were far greater than your own resources, and that was a source of stress. Today, in modern lives, that elephant outside our caves could be somebody's opinion. It could be, like you said, a divorce. It could be a boss. It could be a client. It could be a vendor. It could be a spouse. And stress is continual. We are not designed for that continuity of stress. We are designed for once a week the elephant pops by. So managing stress is about redesigning ourselves in this modern context to be able to live stress-free despite all those elephants popping around. And we're going to talk more about that.
Thank you. Thank you. That is a good way to introduce this topic. And so what types of stress are there, and what are the symptoms of stress? I know we kind of have an idea, but sometimes I think we overlook the reality of what actually is the cause. Like I know Dr. Charles was talking about, maybe sometimes you have a heartbreak, and that can leave people feeling lonely, isolated, not wanted, rejected, and that can create stress. But what are the different types of stress, and what are the symptoms?
Okay, we have three different types of stress. We have the acute stress, we have the chronic stress, and we have the episodic stress. For the acute stress, it's not as severe as that. It normally occurs when someone escapes an accident. The episodic stress is a prolonged sort of stress, so it occurs on a prolonged period of time, if not properly managed. Then that's the episodic stress. Then the chronic stress is a stress that is actually much more severe than the other two. So it occurs in a sort of like a cycle, so to speak. So it keeps on occurring. Then the symptoms of stress are you feel irritated all the time. You feel like you don't want to get out of bed. You don't like to eat. You have insomnia. You have difficulty concentrating. You have difficulty relating to people. So this is just a broad view of what the different kind of stress and the symptoms of stress are.
Well, thank you.
Fabulous. May I add to that?
Yes, go for it.
All right, great. So there's another way of looking at this. All the three types of stress, which Charles mentioned, absolutely perfect, are all what we would classify under distress, which is stress that comes to us involuntarily. It is imposed upon us. But there is stress that you can take up voluntarily. That is called eustress, the good stress. Now, when you walk, when you exercise, when you solve crossword puzzles, you are stressing yourself because the demands of a crossword puzzle or a jog are more than your resource, and you're stretching yourself for it. But because you're doing it voluntarily, it is kind of building your capacity to take stress, and that's good stress as opposed to bad stress. But I would imagine that all eustress would be episodal, because you would do it of your own volition. But when it's not of your volition, that's when it starts getting bad. And those are the signs to look out for. Completely agree with Dr. Charles on those signs. In fact, viewers, if you want to take a stress test, you could probably check it out on my site, sandeepnath.com/stress matrix. So you will find out where in that matrix you are and what you could do about it. But remember, stress can be good for you if it's eustress. but it can be bad for you if it's distress. Then it's distressing, right?
Yeah.
So then, are you saying that COVID-19 was a stress that we didn't volunteer? It was not something we wanted. It just came upon us. So that is stress that is real stress.
That's a big distress. It's a big elephant in front of us.
Okay. So, and what are the causes of stress, though? You know, you've just sort of given the symptoms and what type of stress it is, but what are the causes for it? You know, we know COVID-19 is a good example of how globally everybody was super, super stressed. So what are some other causes apart from heartbreak, maybe divorce, maybe death? What other, just give us more examples of what other ways or what causes stress?
Yeah,
Shall I go for that one?
Yeah, you go for that one.
Okay, because I want to give a perspective to our viewers, and then Charles, you could fill in the more modern aspects of this. But why I'm eager to answer this one is because I'd like to draw attention to what we've known from 4,000-5,000 years. We lived lives that were reasonably stress-free, and we lived lives through meditative practice, through looking inwards. Now, the more we look outwards, the more we look at the neighbor's car and dog and wife and stuff like that, the more we look at gadgets, the more we look at other people's schooling, the more we tend to invite stress. Looking inwards is a great way of not getting that stressed. So what happens when you look inwards is that we get in alignment three things. And these three things are the holy trinity of everything. It is the body, the mind, and the spirit. When the body, mind, and spirit are out of alignment, and I can speak more on this later during this conversation, but remember this, when the body, mind, and spirit are out of alignment, there is stress. It causes stress.
Exactly. And just to add to that, having a chronic illness such as cancer or leukemia, or even certain mental health disorders like bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, these are the things that lead to the body having a negative response. So the body becomes more stressed trying to handle these diseases and mental illnesses. So chronic illness is one major problem that causes stress to anybody at all. Also, going to the military, military experience causes PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, is also one of the factors that causes stress to Army veterans and other Army officers who are deeply involved in the Army. So these are the things that causes stress eventually.
What about fear? How does
fear as well? Yes, exactly. Fear has a way of making us feel as if there's a problem. So we feel as if if we don't take this necessary step, now for us to combat this fear, there's a possibility that it has a negative effect in the future. So fear is always is the future occurrence, not necessarily what occurs in the present. We are more afraid of what would happen when we make a decision for the future. So we become fearful of making certain choices. So this causes stress. We are like wondering, what's going to happen tomorrow if I make this decision? What's going to happen tomorrow if I do this? What's going to happen tomorrow if I make this choice? So these things eventually causes stress on the body, right? And makes us more distressed than usual.
Yeah, I like the what Sandeep was saying. When your body, mind, and soul or spirit is not in alignment, then you know something is actually happening in your body that's creating stress. And I think sometimes some people are so busy that they don't even really know whether that's what's happening. But the fact that you're out of balance is a good indication that something is not right in your body or in your mind. It's, I guess, I believe it's more about what you think about, you bring about. So if people have negative thoughts lead to negative things happening, which means stress and fear and all those kind of things. Yeah.
Exactly.
So what are the 3 levels of stress?
Okay. The 3 levels of stress are: 1, we have the alarm, resistance, and exhaustion. For the alarm is more like a fight or flight response to stress. For the resistance, is your body's way of raising your metabolism, now for it to combat persistent stress. Then for the exhaustion, Exhaustion is the kind of stress that has a negative effect on the body that harms the immune system. So it's in stages. You first of all have a fight or flight response. From there, you become more, your body raises the metabolism now to combat the stress. Then it now goes to the final level. If that stress is not handled on time, it could affect the immune system. So those are the three basic levels of stress.
Wow.
Right.
Sandeep, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, then that's absolutely right. I can just give you some examples to tie in with what we just spoke about, and you asked about fear. You know, when we have the fight or flight response, that is because of that fear. Again, let's go back to the elephant. The elephant's there, run or fight. Now, there's little chance of fighting the elephant. But when we have that happening, then if we look at what's happening inside the body and mind, we are probably getting tense, and the tension physically is holding our muscles, and that's clogging our arteries, and it's creating a physical tension inside, which when it stays for a longer time, it probably becomes tumorous. And when it stays even longer without us attending to it, because like you said, we're so busy being busy, then it could become a cancer. So what Dr. Charles was mentioning about, stress coming out of being in a cancerous state, I would say you're going into a cancerous state is a high level of already being stressed. If you had caught it at that initial irritation, at that initial tightness, you would have nipped it in the bud. You wouldn't have cancers. In fact, did you know that 75 to 90% of the reasons why we visit doctors are indirectly or directly related to stress? This is not me saying it. This is Dr. Bruce Lipton.
Yes, that is
So
so true.
imagine if we just get mindfulness around the symptoms of the stress matrix, we could stop seeing doctors. It could be that powerful.
Thank you. And what is the relationship between stress management and mental health?
Oh yes, very, very, very key, very, very key topic. It's broad. It's very broad. When we have positive, there is good stress and there's bad stress. When there is good stress, the body responds, your mental health responds positively. When there is bad stress, your mental health responds negatively. So imagine you are writing an exam at school, right? You want to write a paper at school. You really want to pass this exam as much as possible. So you are reading all through the night. You are studying your books. You are doing the grind. Suddenly, your body starts becoming stressed. The amount of effort that you are putting in trying to learn a particular material, it becomes a little bit harder, right? So your mental health is affected. But once you are calm, once you bring your mind to a stable state and you align yourself to the present moment, whatever stress you feel, whether bad stress or good stress, your mental health will be positively affected because you are able to better understand and grasp the material they are trying to handle. So that's just an example of saying a student is in school trying to study for a test or an exam. So these are the things that would eventually lead to the person, having two sides of the spectrum, either a negative mental health or positive mental health, depending on how well they've been able to handle their stress.
Wow, thank you. Sandeep?
And, again, the body, the mind, and the spirit, we have an understanding of the body because we live in it. So we are quite closely connected with it. But I'll give you an analogy. It's the 3 states of water. The grossest state, which is like the body, is ice. There's sweet little you can do with it. It's not so pliable. But the mind, and we're talking about mental health here, the mind is like water. So with water, you can melt ice, which means with the mind, you can actually heal the body, in a sense. That's what psychotherapy is about. That's what affirmations are about. To a extent, that's what meditation and stuff like that would do for you. But when we talk about mental health, then we're talking about mind and emotions, and the only thing above that is spirit. Now, science does not have instrumentation to measure how spirit works. Okay, you can connect with spirit through prayer, for example. You can connect through energy healing, which is still considered woo-woo. But being an energy master myself, I can tell you that when you're able to apply energy, then you are able to address the mental and emotional issues as well. So like Dr. Charles said, from the body rises to the mind. From the mind, if the issue moves to the spirit, then the spirit dies. Then there's depression, there is suicide. And the solution also comes top down in the same way.
Exactly.
Whoa. Yes.
Exactly.
Dr. Charles, did you want to add something? Or
No, he explained this. He explained it well. Everything is it's perfect.
So thank you. So if you've just joined us, we are talking about stress management. And please click and share, comment, invite your friends to watch and ask questions, because we're here today with Dr. Charles Ichur and Sandeep Nath, who will be taking your questions. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put in the chat so we can actually address those questions during this session. So moving forward, what are ways to manage stress? So give us maybe 5 stress management techniques.
The one I practice mindfulness meditation. So you could just bring your mind to the present moment. Try as much as possible to know that your stress, whatever thought or negative feeling that you are feeling at that moment, is just a mirage. To look at it as a mirror, it doesn't really exist, right? So to help you to better manage your stress. You could also take a walk. You could also take a 10-minute walk out of the house. Sleep better, eat healthy foods, socialize. Socialization is very important. Socialize with people, have conversations, call a friend up on the phone. Hey, how are you feeling? I just want to check on you. What's up with you? So you could have a conversation with a friend. So these are things that would eventually make your body de-stress, rather make your body less stress and bring you into, a better mindful state.
Wow, thank you. Sandeep, what would you like to add? What are some ways?
Well, I'm glad Dr. Charles mentioned the thing about mindfulness, and in fact, everything he said is stuff to do. I have written an article which I will talk about, which puts what he said into something that would be probably very easy to remember to do. And those 5 things are SMILE, smile. S.
It's not easy, right?
I'll tell you. S, what he said, sleep. Make sure you get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. It's very important to recharge your endocrinal system.
Very vital.
M, for meditate, which is not to sit on a cushion. Just take 30 seconds off from whatever you're doing and breathe deeply and focus on the breath going in and coming out. You do 3 such breaths, 10 seconds each. You sort it. Do it every hour or couple of hours. You stay fresh. I, it's not just about eating, it's about ingesting. Ingest your food. Eat unprocessed food as close to natural food as possible, but chew the thing. Mahatma Gandhi had said that you must drink your food and chew your water, which means you must chew your food so much that you drink it in and gulp water slowly so that you are actually like chewing it. Ingest. L, what happens in social circumstances is you tend to laugh. You've got to laugh. You've got to shake those tensions out of your body through laughter. It's a great medicine. And have good company of friends so that you have those laughters happening online or offline. And finally, E, exercise. And exercise does not mean that you pick up dumbbells and stuff like that. Exercise just means move around. Don't keep sitting. Just take a walk or bend, stretch, twist every couple of hours. When you decide to have your meditative break, have a little movement break also.
Exactly.
Well, I really like a lot of that. Actually, I just saw something today. It's okay. People need to give themselves permission to take a break, because if you're thinking it, I think you need it. So
you need it.
Yeah. So if you're thinking, should I take a break? I think.
See, that's the mind telling the body what to do. The mind knows.
Yes.
And then your energy, your spirit, the steam has to drive it. Boom. Go do it. You deserve it.
There's something also I like to encourage a lot of people to do is to have a gratitude journal, because I think you cannot be, when you're stressed, you cannot be stressed and also be grateful at the same time. So one or the other. So if I call it attitude of gratitude. If you practice that on a daily basis, because the first thing I believe is when you wake up in the morning, your name was on the list, you're here. So that in itself is gratitude, because you're awake, you're alive, you're here.
Sure.
So everything
Sure.
else for me, I believe, is a bonus from there. So it's easy to do everything else. And I like that analogy of smile, because smile is just, it's easy to remember because we all smile. And I always have this belief system that if I can share my smile with someone else, I think it's a good deed or a kind thing to do, because maybe they might be stressed, going through things that nobody knows about. And maybe that smile might be the only sunshine they might see or they have seen in a long time. And you could be changing someone's life by just smiling. I think it's very simple. And it's a very easy practice to do as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Katinda, another thing about the smile before I let you go on that one is that you will observe, viewers, that you can never, ever be smiling and harboring a low energy vibration at the same time. You cannot be fearful and smiling, you cannot be angry and smiling, you cannot be ashamed and smiling. If you force your body to work that smile in place, your energies will take care of themselves.
Yes, I like that one. That's so good. Now, I think there's a video that we're going to have a video that's going to play. It's Edith's Workplace Youth Mental Health Course Testimonial video. So just give it a few seconds while that video comes up.
Okay.
Look at the comments in the meantime.
Is we're just giving it a few more minutes and see if the video comes up. Okay. I guess we're just waiting for that video. So is there anything else we can add while we're waiting for that video in terms of what are some other techniques that people can actually practice? Like, everything we've talked about seems very easy. So what is it they can actually start doing right now while watching this show? I know smiling is one of them, but what is the first thing they can actually right now watching? What is it they can do?
I think they can take a social media detox.
Hello, everyone.
Just take some time off social media. I think that will help a lot.
The video is out.
About the Youth Workplace Mental Health online course that is being offered by GYMHA. And I'd like to specifically thank Professor Peter Bither for sponsoring this course. I want to thank Professor Jude Ediaye and also Kenny Taiwo for being the instructor of this course. It has been very instrumental, very enlightening, and being a beneficiary, I'd like to say that it has been very eye-opening to me, because I've in the recent past been a victim of a toxic workplace, and I'd say that toxicity in the workplace takes a toll on someone's mental health, on the self-esteem, and even on the productivity at the workplace. So mental health is very, very important at the workplace, because you realize that a good mental health and good management go hand in hand. And also it is evidence that mental health awareness at the workplace also leads to productivity at the workplace. So GYMHA has come up with this course that it's teaching people about mental health at the workplace, and it's a course that everybody needs to take it, so that they can understand what mental health at the workplace is all about. The course has 5 modules, and the first module is the opportunity, where they educate the staff about workplace mental health, and also demonstrate workplace benefits, and also support young people at the work. The second module is the solution. Employers can promote mental health awareness and also stress management skills at the workplace. So that is the solution, that employers can promote mental health and stress management at the workplace. Number three, the module number three is the resources. And this is where we can incorporate mental health as part of corporate well-being. So just taking mental health and making it part of the corporate well-being is very important to help the staff and also the employees, the employers in the workplace. Four, project deliverables. So this is the fourth module, is the project deliverables. So the deliverables tells us what mental health is all about, the importance of mental health in the workplace, and also provide support for people having a tough time with their mental health. The fifth module is the benefits. So what are the benefits of this course? One, participants are able to respond to youth mental health needs. So when you take this course, you'll be able to respond to the needs of the youth's mental health. Number two, the staff are able to address mental health problems early enough, and so there will be productivity in the workplace. Three, staff will be feeling better because there's enough support and they are aware of the range of resources relating to mental health. So when resources relating to mental health are enough, the staff will also be able to be productive in the workplace, and they also feel like they are supported by their workplace. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to if you want to take the course, the online course, please visit www.globalyouthmentalawareness.org or email jude@gymha.org. I wish you a great time and please be part of this course. Bye bye.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. That was a good testimony about the workplace course that is being offered by GYMHA. So we were just talking before about what are some techniques to use for stress management. And Sandeep, I think you were saying something before.
Was I?
Yeah.
It'll come back.
Yeah, so we were talking about I was talking about how gratitude is one thing. You cannot be grateful and stressed at the same time. So that was something that we were talking about. But I see we have a question actually from Kenneth Cordero. How we can stop being in denial about being stressed. So how can we stop being in denial about being stressed?
Yes, I can add to that. Just like anything in life, if you are sincere with your feelings and your emotions, and you truly want to heal from whatever is causing you stress, worry, or anxiety, just talk about it. There is no use trying to hide behind a smile or a laughter or something like that, and you still feel stressed inside. The only way you can stop being in denial or being stressed is to talk about it. Let people know this is what you are going through. It will better allow you to seek the help that you truly deserve. And then you start healing whatever emotions is causing you stress, anxiety, depression, whatever it is. You just need to talk about it. Talking about it is the first step in every healing process. And this is what I always encourage my clients to do. Just open up to me, be vulnerable with me. It allows you to express your emotions better. It allows me to feel your energy better, so we can actually come to a reasonable point where you can heal for whatever is giving you stress or anxiety or worry. So the first step in stop being in denial of being stressed is to talk about your problems. Just talk about it. Don't pretend it doesn't exist, because it's really there. So from there, the healing process will start beginning.
Thank you, Charles.
Right.
So do you want to add something to that?
Yes, I agree with that. Talking about it is so important. And I'll just touch upon why people may not want to talk about it. Because I had a very dear friend who did not talk with me about it, and we lost him to a brain stroke, which was maybe not avoidable. Maybe if he hadn't got that stressed, maybe it was. We can never say about that. But what I say is that let's understand two things. One, that why are we in denial? Because it's a fact that we understand we're stressed, but we don't want to talk to anybody about it. We don't even want to talk to ourselves. We don't want to admit it to ourselves. That is what denial is about. And that happens because we don't want to be smaller than the problem. It goes against our ego. Stress is when the demands are more than the resources. So we want to believe that, how can I admit that I don't have the resources? How can I admit I don't have financial resources or social resources or emotional power to take on whatever is required? And when you look at it from that perspective, then you realize that, hey man, wait a minute, this is just my ego speaking. And if I can have a conversation with my ego and allow it to speak to my best friend or somebody that, like Dr. Charles, for example, or anybody that he suggested, family or whatever, that's a great starting point. The second thing, the conversation you have with your ego is, look, buddy, my mind is the one that's telling me that I don't want to admit it. Now, my mind is like water. It is contaminated water. Now, I'm okay with contaminated water. I can still go about my life. But what Dr. Charles is proposing, that, hey, take a filter and let the water go through so it's not contaminated anymore. But what you are going to do with denial is allow that water to become ice, to manifest in your body. Now, if that happens, is it easy, friends, to take contamination out of ice? So take a choice. While it's in the mind, filter it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're stuck.
Exactly.
Yes. I hope, Kenner, we answered your question. But also the other thing I believe is, if you're not seeing a counselor or a therapist, it's always good to find people in your social circle who you trust and open up to them, because I think a problem shared is a problem. Problem gets more. What's the statement? I think they said problem shared is a problem solved.
The problem half solved.
Half solved. Yes. Yes. So moving forward, how can people deal with anger, stress, and depression?
Just like what we talked about, Sandeep and I talked about opening up about it. Talk about it with someone. You may not have access to a counselor or a therapist at that moment, right? Because of maybe you don't want to. You have the funds are not there to pay for the service. So what you can do is to talk with someone you really trust, a family, your friend, someone that is really close to you, right? And you really trust, that you can really open up to. This will allow you to deal with these emotions of depression or anger or anxiety. It would better allow you to think in a different perspective, because you are offering yourself to someone who can actually help you to see things differently. But it's very important that you actually meet the right people, not people that will be judgmental about you, people that would or will judge you, or people that make you feel as if your problems are not valid enough. So find people that you really trust. That's the key word, trust. Find people that you really trust, people that can understand you. It will better help you to cope with these negative emotions, and before you know it, you start feeling much better.
Yeah, just before we continue, I see here we have a question from Renu Nat. How can you avoid stress if the object of stress is right in front of you? Very good question.
That's a very good question, actually. That's a very good
Sandeep, you
question.
want to take that one?
Sure. It's a great question, of course, and it certainly makes sure that you're not going to be in denial, but you've got to start inculcating certain habits that would help you reverse this. You see, the body is the one that gets into doing things, so you can create habits physically using the body. And once those habits are created, then the mind is affected. So the mind that is getting stressed is going to get less stressed when you're doing things with the body. Now, a lot of stuff that we've just spoken about has to do with this, like you could do that meditative practice for your breathing and see how you're coming in regulation with that. You could do your walking, you could do things like that. Do things physically, because they will change your state. They will change your energies, and you will get more powered to start seeing the situation in front of you and feeling that you can handle it
Yeah, but
more
Exactly.
often.
Sandeep, I'm just thinking here, this question, how can you avoid stress if the object of stress is right in front of you? What if, I'm just going to be the devil's advocate here. What if you're in a relationship, a marriage, and the case is where the wife or the husband is stressed because the other person is the one that is doing things that create the stress. So going inward and taking a walk and meditating is fantastic, but the problem is still not solved. That means the stress is going to be, you're almost like managing the situation, but not communicating the problem. So apart from communication, how can that be addressed to help the situation? Because this looks like the other person could be the cause of the stress.
You're absolutely right, Karinda. And the other person is your trigger. But your trigger is going to fire only when you are weak and you are not able to take that on. So, what I said so far was to develop your inner power, to have the strength to be able to communicate. Thereafter, like Dr. Charles had said earlier, you've got to communicate, and how to communicate, that's a huge subject. But I would recommend that you communicate in complete awareness that I am taking out time to communicate. These are the points, write them down beforehand, which I will communicate. I will not go outside these 4 or 5 points that I've written out. And once I've completed these points, I will go back into my practices of habits before I lead to the next communication. So that's a very big subject of how to communicate. But Dr. Charles would like to add to that.
Okay. From based on my experience with the clients I've worked with couples. So I've done a lot of couples counseling. So there've been situations whereby they've come to me and they said, "Oh, my boyfriend is treating me this way, and I feel as if I'm not, he doesn't need me, and I don't feel as if I'm enough for him." So these are the things that are causing me stress. So, like what Sandeep said, communication is really important. But how far can you communicate in such a way that it makes more meaning and gives you less stress? Because you are seeing the person all the time, you are looking at the person, you are looking at your spouse, you feel as if your spouse is not communicating with you. So how do we better, advocate for, less stressful situations in that particular instance? I think the most important thing is coming to terms with the fact that there is a problem. Once you come to the terms with the fact that there's a problem, it makes it easier for you to find a solution. Because that's what human life is all about. We all have problems. We are seeking people who have the solution to our problems. It's only someone that really that doesn't want to have a solution, that keeps on making a problem that a solution is always presented to. So if you truly, really want to get away from your stress, you want to be better, then it's important that you become more aware of the fact that when someone provides a solution for you, it's important for you to take it. It may seem like a bitter pill to swallow at times, probably because of the stress, the level of stress you are feeling. So it's important for you to realize that being able to be more mindful of the fact that a solution will be provided for you, just take it. You'll see eventually that you start healing from whatever stressful situations that you are encountering. Even in a marriage, even when you are dating someone, be mindful of the person that you are dating. Be more aware of the characteristics of the person. Be more aware of what makes that person who he or she is. It will better help you understand that your stressful situation is just a mirage and it can go as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Dr. Charles.
I love that point. It's just a mirage. What an important, powerful statement that is. Because a lot of our stress triggers are our perceptions of things, and
Exactly.
especially when the stress trigger is in front of us. You are in front of me, and I could draw a 6 here, and you would see it as a 9, and we could have great relationship stress. But if I just come around the table and I see that, okay, there is a possibility of seeing this as a 9, all the stress goes away instantly. So I loved what you said about that.
Thank you. We have another
Exactly.
question from Isiaka Ridwan Abiodan. The point of the question is, after talking to someone about them, and you still found it deep down, you're not to feel relieved. What can one do at that point?
Okay. Okay. I think it depends
But
on who you are talking with, right? It's important.
So this question is a
But
follow-up based on if the person is a partner or when the stress is in front of you and you're not able to, I guess, come to terms or communicate the problem or try to work something out. What do you do from there?
I think it depends on
so
who you are
I'd like
talking
to,
with. Sandeep, go on. Go
yeah,
on.
I'd like to recommend Ishikawa, the one that the first thing that you must do is celebrate that you took a step in the right direction. Give yourself positive feedback. Give yourself the have an ice cream. Do something which makes you feel good. That yes, I am not denying it. I am not escaping it. I am looking at the trigger, and I am powerful enough from inside to take a step. Believe it that as you keep taking the steps, you will reach the destination. But if you get disappointed, disillusioned with every action that you take, doesn't bring the kind of magical result that you expected, well, the important thing is to keep taking those actions. Second, keep building those habits inside you. As long as you are powering yourself energetically with, like, celebrating stuff is giving positive feedback, you're powering yourself with positivity, you will find that, as Dr. Charles said, it could be just a mirage. It just disappears. It's like the elephant again. I keep coming back to the elephant. The guy who's standing at his cave and he is maybe doing something which is energetic, with the elephant there. He just might keep doing it, powering himself up till the elephant suddenly turns around and walks away. Why do we think that the elephant is there only to attack? It may not attack. It just senses you and decides, no, this is not my prey for today. Those things happen. I mean, we've seen that happen. Charles has seen that happen. I'm sure all of us in the GYMHA community.
Yes.
Thank you.
You've got to wait with that patience. Yeah.
Now, moving forward, here there's a question about stress management in the workplace. What can you tell us about that? Because of course, a lot of workplaces have a lot of pressure.
This is my favorite topic to talk about. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about. In fact, I've sent emails to different companies asking me to. I've asked them to give me a space so I can run a seminar with them. Stress management in the workplace is absolutely important for productivity. It doesn't affect the employee alone, but it affects the human resource manager, the line manager, the CEO of the company. When one employee is stressed and less productive, it has a negative effect on the overall productivity of the organization. So if an employee feels stressed, if an employee feels like he's not contributing meaningfully to the company, it's important for that employee to speak up about it. Talk to someone. Oh, I'm feeling this way. How can you better help me? I want to be productive. I want to write good reports. I want to produce more PowerPoint presentation that are more effective. But I feel stressed, right? How can you better help me? It's important for that employee to talk about it. Have an open conversation with your line manager. Have someone that you are talking with. Have open conversation with the human resource manager. Let them know this is how you are feeling. Never hide any stressful feeling that you are having in you, because in the end, it has a ripple effect on every member or colleague that is working close to you. If you feel stressed, it will have a ripple effect on your other colleagues, and they in turn will feel stress as well. So make intentional efforts towards talking about your stressful situations. Have someone that you can bring in, maybe like a seminar. A counselor would run a seminar. So the counselor would better help you to see things differently. This will enable you to better understand that workplace stress is absolutely normal and it's possible to overcome it.
Thank you. Sandeep, what would you like to add to that? Stress management.
I was so happy that you brought up this question, and so I changed my background instantly, because that's how I would like us to see this world. Workplaces are melting pots of causes of stress, and I believe that the reason for that is that somewhere in the process of designing our modern businesses and lifestyles, we have forgotten our ancient wisdom practices. So while I would love to bring those practices back into the workplace, what I'd like our CEOs and senior business people and professionals who are listening to this to understand is that stress leads to productivity losses. And if you want a perspective on that, there is a research that has been done by PwC in the US in 2019, pre-COVID, which I mean, it's available, documented online, which says that every year in the US alone, $300 billion are lost because of stress-related problems. Now, $300 billion is about the gross domestic product of countries. I mean, it's almost um, I can't really remember which country now, but companies like Reliance is one of India's largest groups. It's about 4 times Reliance Group. So what it means is that that much money is going down the toilet just because nobody is understanding how to develop the strategies around workplace stress. And that is going to result in that much more engagement, which would result in that much more customer delight, which would result in that much more top line. So it's a very, very pressing problem which has to be addressed. And it can be addressed at an individual level with teams, with an awareness, as Dr. Charles said, of this being a serious, serious termite within organizations.
Yes,
Exactly.
and
I love talking about this topic.
yes, Charles, Dr. Charles, are you speaking?
I say I love talking about this topic. Workplace mental health is one of the most interesting topics I like talking about.
Yes, and it needs a very, very urgent solution because it's water just going down the toilet.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, yes. You know, the thing is, imagine people having stress at work and then having stress at home. Then what kind of world are they living in? Full of stress the whole time, which means it's chaos, it's traumatic. Nobody has a smile and nobody can smile because it's stress is following them around. So that's a very big thing that people need to pay attention. If you're watching this, this is why we're here. We're here to give you insights on stress, whether it's stress at home, in the community, in the workplace. You know, you can reach out and, you know, get to know more or work with Dr. Charles or with Sandeep or with the Global Youth Mental Health Awareness team as well. That's why we do these shows every fortnight, just to bring awareness to the viewers, to anybody who might be going through some stress challenges or anything that is obviously mental health, physical health. We speak about all that, and we've got a lot of professionals in GYMHA who can actually support and help you. So, on the final note, how does stress management improve quality of life? You know, we know that stress creates havoc in life, but it's our reaction to it that makes a difference.
Exactly.
So, how can it improve our quality of life?
In Africa, where I come from, stress is part of our daily lives. In fact, waking up in the morning, we feel as if, oh, what's going to happen today? What am I going to do tomorrow? And you become so stressed, right? But being able to actually align yourself to your purpose and your vision and your dreams, it's really important.
Right.
Having a vision, having a dream, having a purpose, having something to look forward to. These are the things that eventually start improving your quality of life. As long as you are intentional about whatever you are doing, whatever choices you are making, whatever decisions you hope to bring to someone, it's important for you to realize that your quality of life will start improving significantly when you start taking intentional efforts towards being less stressed and being more mindful of your present state. So it all encompasses around trying to be more mindful of yourself, trying to be more aware of your surroundings, trying to be more at peace with who you are, and being comfortable in your own skin. So this will eventually lead you to have a good quality of life in the long run.
Yeah. What about Sandeep? What would you?
Absolutely agree. That's a very, very important point there. And, you know, if you look at quality of life, it's different for different people around the world. From Mexico to New Zealand, there are different people, and everybody's got a different yardstick. But in fact, earlier I was saying you get stressed because you look at the quality of somebody else's life and you say mine is not like that. But that's not your yardstick, so don't go by that. Where does your yardstick come from? Your yardstick comes from why you do what you do. It could be work, it could be running the house, it could be some engagement that you have which makes your heart happy, running some organization, charitably, whatever. That's what we call purpose. When you are aligned with your purpose, purpose gives you energy. And that energy fuels you and builds you up inside so that you become greater than the triggers, even if the triggers are in front of you. So, understanding, spending some time introspecting on why we do what we do, what is it that we want to do, what would really make our heart happy, what is it that we are good at, as well as makes our heart happy, we're passionate about, as well as, like Dr. Charles says, we dream about. Well, if you can get a map of these three things, and in Ikigai, they've got a fourth thing which says, which is good to earn money as well, which people need, which they'll pay for. So these four things, then you set up your purpose and you become a meaningful contributor to society. As a contributor to society, you will feel a lot less stressed, you will feel a lot more purposeful, and you will enjoy whatever quality of life that results in, because that's your yardstick. And you will always be happy because you're following your heart.
Thank you.
Exactly.
We have a
I really
comment.
love that.
we have a comment from David. He says, to reduce stress at work, you will need to organize your day in the way that is most comfortable to you. This list may help you organize your day at work. Thank you for that. Yes,
Yeah,
that's something
that's true.
very
Relevant,
important.
David, because organizing your day
That's
is
true.
part
That's
of your
true.
bodily habits, and getting your habits is
That's
very,
true.
very, very critical.
Yes, so, before we conclude, I know there's so many ways to protect and manage your mental health and well-being. So what is one thing you do for yourself on a daily basis to check in with your mental health? Dr. Charles.
Oh, the one thing I like doing, I like listening to Indian mantras. I listen to Indian mantras a lot, and it really grounds me, keeps me more motivated. It helps me to better cope with my mental health. And yeah, I mean, this is what I do. And waking up in the morning, even if I just try to look at the day and say, this is going to be a beautiful day. I love how the sun is shining. I love how the sky is. Even if it's raining, I love the cold weather. It makes me happy. So I try to be positive. I try to be optimistic. I try to always be happy in my own skin, because I know that whatever I'm doing today is going to positively affect my future. So I'm always intentional about the things I do today for a more positive future tomorrow.
Thank you. What about Sandeep? What is something you do on a daily basis to protect and manage your mental health and well-being?
Right. So what I do is something that I can do with my body, so it becomes a habit, and I can get myself to do it. But what it does is it works at the level of energy, so it cleanses my body, emotions, and mind. And this is called energy work. In Chinese, it's called Qi Gang. Qi meaning energy and Gang meaning work. And this comes from Taoist, Buddhist, Shaolin practices. And I have developed a business Qigong routine of about 20 minutes, which anybody can do. It's like an internal bath. So just like we have an external bath to clean away the germs, which we see in television ads, animations, we've got these internal contaminations, which come from other people's opinions, which come from coronaviruses, which come from so many places. And building your immunity for this at a mind-body level comes through a daily 20-minute practice of connecting with that universal energy called Qigong.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, as for me, I always say The question is, when I get up in the morning, I ask the question, why am I so grateful today? And once I'm able to answer that question, my day starts really well, because then the first thing is,
beautiful start.
My name is on the list. I'm awake, like I said before. And if I can breathe, that means everything else is possible. And
Absolutely.
the other thing I wanted to leave before we finalize this is to ask people questions like, when you're stressed, ask yourself or find a way, what is it you do to soothe your soul? And I believe music is universal. Music is amazing. When you're not feeling great, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling stressed, just find a song or something that means something to you. Even maybe meditate. I listen to a lot of, as well, like Dr. Charles said, I have a lot of Indian chants that I do, because I believe they just give me the energy and they connect me with the universe, or the greater, bigger universe. And I believe music is a very easy way to soothe your soul, no matter where, what, how, when, and everything like that. And also the other thing I wanted to mention is to the viewers, your thoughts, the quality of your thoughts is what dictates what your life turns out. So be very careful what you think about, because what you think about, you bring about. And that's how stress also manifests, because you start thinking stressful things, negative things. You're tuning to channel negative instead of channel positive. Of course, you're going to have a stressful day. Of course, things are going to go bad for you. So it's a question of just practicing and tuning yourself to positive stuff. And also, people, what did they say? Jim Rohn said, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yes.
So if your people are negative, definitely you're going to have stress, because that means all you're going to be talking about is negative things, which don't impact or change your life or change anyone's life as well. So those are just some of the points I think, if you're watching and listening, take that and just start slowly. You don't have to do everything at once, because sometimes it's overwhelming, but start with music. I think everybody enjoys music. I've never met anybody who doesn't listen to music. I believe that's just the go. Yes. So where can people find Roshan, Sandeep, where can they find you, Dr. Charles? Just maybe one place they can find you.
Okay.
SandeepNath.com.
Very active on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, so just your name, the name they see on the screen?
LinkedIn, yeah, the name I said, Dr. Charles Itwa. I'm very active here.
Okay. And Sandeep, the name on the screen is what they will find?
Absolutely. SandeepNath.com. That's my site. I'll just add to that music is so powerful also because music is an energy, and those are the vibrations. So that's why those Indian chants and mantras and even soulful music of any sort, like you played an hour ago when we started this show, changes you at an energetic level. And that's energy work as well.
Yes, and if you would like more information about the Global Youth Mental Health Awareness, please contact Jude at GYMHA.org, or you can also message us on the Facebook page where this show is showing. And that's all for today. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you, Dr. Charles, for sharing your insights on stress management. I learned so much today about stress, which I already kind of knew but didn't know the depth of it. Thank you so much. And I want to thank you, viewers, for being a fabulous audience and for watching the Global Youth Mental Health Awareness Show. We appreciate you very much. And our topic in the next fortnight will be about suicide impact and prevention. So please stay tuned for that. Until next time, may you all experience the frequencies of love and light. Stay blessed.
Awesome.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you.